Here's the part nobody wants to hear. Most people will work for 40 years and never actually get free. And it's not because they're broke, and it's not because they're lazy. It's because they're sitting at a poker table, playing a game they think they're supposed to win, when the real move is to stand up and walk away from the table entirely. Every year they make a little more, they spend a little more, and the table just follows them home. That's the cost of staying stuck. So before you lose another decade to it, let me show you the way out. Hey, I'm Richard. On this channel, I break down money moves for regular people, not the Wall Street crowd, not trust fund kids, just real strategies you can actually use this week. If that's your kind of channel, hit subscribe and stick around. So here are 9 habits that quietly build real wealth. No luck, no stress. And the whole point of these is not to make you rich. It's to break you out of the game where you have to keep making money forever. So let's start here. The first habit is to build your life around freedom, not stuff. Quick question: what is money actually for? Most people never stop to ask. They just figure money is for buying things, paying bills, getting a nicer car, looking like you've got it together. And sure, a little of that is fine. But think about a rocket leaving Earth. A rocket has to hit a certain speed to punch through gravity. Too slow, and no matter how powerful it is, gravity drags it back down. Hit that speed, and it stops fighting. It just floats free, out into orbit. That speed even has a name: escape velocity. Money works exactly the same way. Your bills, your lifestyle, your stress, that's gravity. And it keeps yanking you back into working for the next paycheck. But once your investments throw off enough money to cover your whole life, you break free of that gravity for good. Picture never needing to earn another dollar. Not because you're swimming in cash, but because your investments quietly pay for your life. That's the goal. Most people never reach it because the second they earn more, they spend more. They upgrade the car that was running perfectly fine just because the raise hit. So they stay strapped to the table, playing every single day, sometimes right up until they die, buying stuff. So let me say it plainly. The goal is not to make more money. The goal is to need money less. And by the way, the number you'd actually need is usually way smaller than you think. Quick pause. If you're still here, you're the type who actually wants to get this right. Do me a favor and check if you're subscribed, and if you're not, tap the button so we can keep going through this together. All right, back to it. Which brings me to the next one. Treat money like a tool, not a goal. Think about a hammer. You don't wake up itching to worship your hammer. You grab it and ask what you can build. Money is the same. It's a tool. But people flip it around and start praying to it. They stop asking what kind of life they want and just chant, "How do I make more? How do I make more?" And I get it. Money was my goal for years, so I had to climb out of this myself. But when money becomes the goal, you lose the plot. You take jobs you hate, you stay stressed, you trade your time and your health and your relationships for a number you think will fix everything. It won't. Money doesn't fix your life. It just turns up the volume on whoever you already are. The only problems it solves are money problems. Stressed now? You'll be a stressed person with more money. Unhappy now? Now you're unhappy in a nicer kitchen. That's why you see people pulling in millions and still miserable. They chased the tool and forgot the life they were supposed to build with it. They've got the wealth and no freedom, no peace. So flip it. Money serves your life. Decide first how you want to live, what your days should feel like, and then point the money at that. Skip that step and you'll wake up one day with a bigger balance and no life you actually enjoy. That's the trap. The next one is to automate your investing before you ever see the money. You know that phrase, out of sight, out of mind? That's exactly what you want your money to be. A slice of every paycheck slides straight into an investment account before it ever touches your hands. Don't lean on willpower for this. Willpower is like a New Year's gym membership. It shows up strong in January and ghosts you by February. Especially the week something shiny and new is begging you to buy it. So build a system instead. The best investors don't decide to invest each month. It just happens. The money comes in, a chunk peels off automatically, and it grows in the background. No thinking, no feelings, no, I'll start next month. Because next month never shows up. If you don't see it, you don't miss it. And that's how you build wealth quietly, while everyone else is busy picking out their next purchase. Now here's one that trips up almost everyone. Live below your means, especially when you start earning more. Raise hits and boom, bigger apartment, nicer car, 3 more subscriptions, a little treat because, hey, I earned it. Now they own nicer stuff and their bank account is just as empty. And this happens to people pulling in millions too. My wealth advisor had a client who cleared $20 million in net profit in a single year. 18 months later, bankrupt. He bought watches for all his employees, multiple expensive houses in different cities, a pricey car parked at each one. When your lifestyle sprints as fast as your income, you never get ahead. Because wealth is built in the gap between what you earn and what you spend. The wider that gap and the more of it you funnel into investments, the faster you get free. So guard that gap like your life depends on it, because honestly, your financial life does. Look, every time I make more money, the first thing my brain wants is to celebrate and go buy something nice. I blew it doing exactly that in my early 20s. So now, whenever I earn more, I force my lifestyle to stay frozen right where it was for at least a couple of years. The next habit is to stop comparing, especially with the social media flexing. Scrolling your feed is like walking into a party where everyone only tells you about their best day ever, and nobody mentions the rent they can't cover. Suddenly it feels like everyone is richer, further ahead, winning, while you're the only one falling behind. But that's not reality. That's a highlight reel. You're stacking your whole messy life against somebody's best 1%. And comparison is the fastest way to feel broke when you're actually doing fine. You could be saving, investing, quietly building, and then one guy posts a new car and suddenly you feel behind. So you think, maybe I should upgrade too. Maybe I'm not doing enough. And just like that, you get yanked back to the table, spending to keep up with the neighbors, pushing your freedom further down the road. Remember, most people aren't showing you their net worth. They're showing you their spending, and those are two very different things. Stay in your lane and stick to your plan, because real wealth doesn't need to be posted anywhere. Here's the next one. Track your spending and know where every dollar goes. Honest question. Do you actually know where your money goes? Not a rough idea? Every single dollar? Most people swear they know until they really look, and then it's, where on earth did it all go? Money doesn't vanish into thin air. It leaks out, usually in tiny, unconscious purchases nobody's watching. It's rarely the big stuff. It's a steady drip of small ones. So you need one thing: visibility. Every dollar in and every dollar out. Back in 2007, when I started doing this, I printed bank statements and logged everything by hand with a calculator, and it 8 hours. Now apps like Monarch Money and Rocket Money do it for you. You connect your accounts and they show your spending, your income, your subscriptions, all of it in one place. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Real example. When my wife and I first started dating back in 2013, she kept saying she had no money. So I asked what she made and what her bills were, and the math said she should have had $400 extra a month. She swore she didn't. So we printed 3 months of statements, and there it was. She was dropping $400 a month at Target without realizing it. She just stopped going for years and started saving that money automatically. That's the awareness that changes things. Once you spot the leaks, the 7 subscriptions you never use, the takeout you don't even enjoy, you plug them and invest the difference. Then track your net worth consistently. You don't have to obsess, just stay aware, because what you track, you improve. If you don't know what you own, what you owe, what you're earning, saving, and investing, you're just guessing. And guessing never built anybody's freedom. Tracking creates clarity, and clarity makes better decisions. When I first started earning real money at 21, I 6x'd my income in 1 year, and my bank account ended both years at the exact same number. It was all leaking out. So I started checking my account every single day. At first, it gave me anxiety, because I never knew if I'd see $100 or -40. Then I made watching it grow my whole game. Insufficient funds to 1,000, to 5,000, to 10, to 20, to 6 figures. Do the same with all of yours, savings, checking, investments, and let those apps link them so it all updates in one place. The next habit is a big one. Detach your self-worth from money. People don't just want money, they want what they think money means: respect, status, finally feeling like they're enough. I coach wildly successful business owners who have more than they'll ever need and still can't step away, because the business became their entire identity. And it's not just millionaires, it's a lot of us. When your identity is welded to your income, you start believing more money makes you more of a person, and losing money makes you less. That's a dangerous game, because now money isn't just sitting in your account, it's running your emotions, your confidence, your decisions. Here's what it looks like. You earn a bit more, so you feel you have to upgrade and prove you're doing well. Not because you want the stuff, but to protect the image. Or you lose some, and suddenly it's, am I good enough? What will people think? But you'd never say, my hammer got dirty, so I must be worthless. Or, I bought a new hammer, look how successful I am. It's a tool. Detach your worth from it, and everything changes. You stop performing, stop chasing status, stop making dumb purchases to prove a point. You start playing the long game, investing calmly, deciding with a clear head. Money is a tool, not a scoreboard. The moment it stops defining you, it stops controlling you, and that's when you actually start winning. And the last habit. Think in decades, not days. Most people ask how they can get rich this month, like dumping everything into one coin and watching it 40x by Friday. Wealth doesn't work like that. Think of a seed. You plant it today and you don't dig it up tomorrow to check on it. You give it sun and water and leave it alone, and the seed you plant now is a giant tree in 20 years. Money is the same. For most people, it's a long, quiet game, and unless you're making millions and barely spending, real wealth takes a couple of decades. But I promise you, retiring early beats trading your perfectly good Toyota for a BMW, and it beats a $2,000 TV every single time. So, start planting now. So that's the whole roadmap. 9 habits, 1 through line. Stop trying to look rich and start trying to get free. Here's the one I'd sit with this week. If your investments already covered your life, would you keep doing what you do, or would you walk away from the table? Sit with your honest answer, because that answer is the whole game. All right, that's it from me today. If this saved you a few bucks or just made the topic make sense, drop a like. It genuinely helps the channel keep going. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.